You are listening to A Path to a New You, a podcast about mental health and veterans issues. Today's episode, I want to talk about sports betting and its addiction. Over the last few years, sports betting has become extremely popular. So I'm going to talk a little about that. Also talk about the treatment and some facts and stuff about sports betting and gambling. There's different kinds of gambling too, such as going to the casino, using the slot machines and all that. But in today's episode, I want to talk about sports gambling. So when we're watching TV or you're watching TV and there's a sports game on, like baseball, basketball, football, could be any sport. It could even there doesn't really have to be a sport, some sort of sporting event on. You'll see commercials that are for gambling. You'll see like the Caesar Sportsbook, the MGM Resorts Gambling Sportsbook. You'll see all different kinds of commercials for FanDuel, DraftKings. It's more popular during the sporting events when there's like a game on. You'll see it a lot more. And even the game itself would be sponsored by like a gambling sports book or a company or anything like that. Even when you're watching Sports Center on ESPN, you'll see on the very bottom, this show is sponsored by FanDuel or DraftKings or Caesar Sportsbook. Yeah, it's crazy how bad it's getting. And this really didn't happen until about 2018. It wasn't as popular before 2018 due to the fact that in 2018 the the Supreme Court eliminated the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which was a federal ban on sports gambling that had contained the pastime to certain states and Native American territories. 6 years later, 2024, sports betting has legally spread to 38 states as well as Washington, D.C. 38 of the 50 states legal sports gambling is legal. So you could technically you can download an app if you're located in a certain one of the 38 states. There are apps for sports books. There's the DraftKings, FanDuel, you name it. You can download it on your phone, which means you don't have to go to the casino to do your sports betting. You can do it online or you can do it on an app. That's how crazy it is. So download it's pretty easy to download these apps on your phone too. They make it so easy. And then for the newcomers, the people who are just started, betting, these gambling companies will have a sign up deal. So if you're a first comer, you do a login, you create an account. If you've never created an account before, they will match whatever you put down. So, and some of them you don't have to put down any. If you're a first comer, they'll put money down for you. Sometimes it's 100, sometimes 200, and so you could use that money to gamble with, and then they want to get you hooked. So then once they know that you're hooked, you're gonna keep gambling. So it's what's called is a deposit match. So if you deposit for those newcomers, if you deposit like $100, they'll match it with 100. So you'll have 200 to play with. 1 out of 10 college students is a pathological gambler, according to a according to a meta-analysis conducted by professors at the University of Buffalo. So 1 out of 10 college students are pathological gamblers, which means they gamble like almost on a daily basis. They gamble a lot. The the National Institute of Health website defined pathological gambling as a recognized mental disorder characterized by a pattern of continued gambling despite negative physical, psychological, or social consequences. So that's what they say. That's what they mean when they say pathological gambler. So 1 out of 10 college students is a pathological gambler. That's crazy. That's insane. According to NPR, there has been a 45% increase in inquiries to the National Problem Gambling Hotline, getting 270,000 calls, chats, or texts over the course of 2023. So last year, there's a 45% increase. That gambling site, the gambling hotline, is 1-800 Gambler. So as for someone who knows, you know what, I need help, I need someone to talk to, they they call the 1-800 Gambler. So that's what that's from. And with them, you can receive immediate support and help in overcoming the issue of gambling. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the treatment too, as well. And like I said, there's different types of sports gambling. There's in-game sports gambling, so you're gambling within the game when the game's going on. There'll be stuff that'll be posted up in the app or online. You can go to, for example, there's a anytime. It's called an anytime during football. There's anytime touchdown. So the um the sports book would do, like, for example, an anytime touchdown by Christian McCaffrey during the Super Bowl. You can put money on, hey, this guy's gonna score a touchdown any game. So anytime touchdown. So anytime in the game he scores a touchdown and you put money down, you could win it. You can win money. Or they also do like in game, like who's gonna score the first touchdown, who's gonna like make the first catch, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that. So there's so many different ways to where you can actually put money on during games. This is also included in football, basketball, baseball, and all that stuff too. What are some of the signs and symptoms of sports betting addiction? What are some of the signs? When someone is addicted to sports betting, also referred to as a gambling addiction or compulsive gambling, they may present a wide range of symptoms that can be difficult to pinpoint due to the nature of behavioral addictions. These are these signs are compulsive behaviors. Compulsive behaviors include excessive sports gambling, despite the negative consequences that can cause. When someone's addicted to sports betting, they will continue to place bets even though it has caused financial or relationship issues. So even though they're in debt, even though they're causing relationship issues with their girlfriend, husband, wife, or whoever, they're still going to continue doing it. The person will have an uncontrollable urge to gamble, and they may feel a rush, like an adrenaline rush, when they place a bet. However, this rush does not last long. So they're going to continue doing it, get that rush back. They're going to continue doing it. Loss of control. The person addicted to gambling with experience loss of control and display difficulty stopping or reducing their gambling behavior. They will often spend excessive amounts of money without any rational or others disregard other responsibilities in your life. So they're going to continue gambling put money down and do that no matter what, even if they have other responsibilities such as mortgage, car payments, anything like that. They don't care. They're going to continue doing it. They're also going to neglect responsibilities. An individual experiencing a loss of control may also begin to neglect their responsibilities at work, home, or school. They may miss important events or deadlines because they're prioritize their sports gambling over other obligations in their life. So they don't really care about their responsibilities, so they will miss work, they will call in sick to work, they will not go to school, they'll skip classes, they'll do anything. And the sports gambling will take over. There's also the tolerance and withdrawal. A person addicted to sports betting can eventually get a tolerance of it, meaning they need to win more money or place more bets to achieve the same adrenaline rush or satisfaction. So they continue to like putting down $50, and eventually they're gonna add more to that. Instead of 50, they're gonna bet $100 down, put $100 down, and eventually they'll put more money down because they want that adrenaline rush. I don't know if that I hope that makes sense. But there's definitely some consequences for gambling. The consequences of sports betting can affect many facets of a person's life. It is usually hard for people to believe that they have problems until they have suffered significant consequences. So these consequences are financial issues. Individuals addicted to sports betting may face financial struggles. This addiction can cause a person to spend all of their savings on gambling and sometimes even resort to illegal pursuits to obtain money for gambling. So they may go into debt and they'll find other ways to get money. They'll ask for money and they'll do anything to get that money so they can continue gambling. Relationship issues. The sports betting addiction can place strain on personal relationships and can lead to isolation and loneliness. Individuals may lie to loved ones about their gambling activities, which can cause feelings of distrust and betrayal. So eventually, their significant other, girlfriend, whoever, they will find out. They may not know right away, but they'll definitely find out. And then they also have legal problems. Those with a sports betting addiction may engage in illegal activities such as embezzlement or fraud to finance their gambling. So they'll pretty much do anything to finance their gambling. They may also get into trouble with the law for unpaid debts and other financial problems related to their addiction. It also can cause physical and mental health issues. Sports betting addiction can cause one's physical and psychological health. Individuals may experience stress related illnesses such as high blood pressure, depression, and anxiety. Additionally, the act of sports betting and gambling can cause serious mood fluctuations depending on the outcome. If you win, you're gonna feel great. If you lose, you're gonna be depressed. So the mood fluctuates. How does it affect mental health? Well, like I said before, sports betting addiction can greatly impact a person's mental health. Someone with a sports betting addiction may experience guilt, shame, difficulty sleeping, low self esteem, fear, worry, difficulty concentrating, and poor decision making. So yeah, it could definitely cause some mental health issues. Especially if they keep on losing. If they continue gambling, then continue losing, they're gonna feel they're gonna worry because then all of a sudden their money that they put down is gone. They're gonna feel like their low self esteem. They're not gonna feel worth. They're gonna have difficulty sleeping because Again, they lost a bunch of money, and so they don't have that money anymore. The money that they should have used for bills, they don't have it, so they're gonna have difficulty sleeping. They're gonna fear They're gonna be worrying about how are they gonna pay their bills because they're just used the money they're supposed to use for bills, they used for gambling. And again, over time, there's gonna be poor decision making because they're gonna continue doing what they need to do because they think they're gonna get that money back. So they're gonna gamble some more, and they're hoping that they win that money back. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. But hold on, there is treatment available. There's online treatment, like BetterHelp. There's online therapy. There's talking to mental health professionals like myself. We specialize in behavioral addictions. They're pretty easy to find. All you gotta do is Google. If you're not in Wisconsin, all you gotta do is Google like mental health professionals or Google something that's, say for example, anxiety, like treatment for anxiety. Stuff will come up. Google is your friend. Talk to a mental professional who specialize in those with behavioral addictions. I have over 15 years experience in the mental health field. I've worked with people who have behavioral issues. I've worked with people who have addictions, so I've got a ton of experience. And as a mental health professional, we can help individuals understanding the underlying condition or events that may have led to their sports betting addiction. So we talk about this is how this happened. This is what's going on. And then if you have insurance, you can always call your insurance company and then they can refer you to a provider that takes your insurance. If you don't have insurance, most mental health professionals or therapists like myself are private pay. Private pay would mean you would pay with a debit, credit card, cash. Some do take checks. I do not take checks. I used to, not anymore. Um, but yeah, so private pay means you're not using insurance. You're paying out of pocket pretty much. That's what that means. There's also some there's support groups that are available. Gamblers Anonymous is a popular one for those who have gambling issues. Um, so Gamblers Anonymous is kind of like Alcohol Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. They do have a 12-step program that they follow. You will be with other people who are struggling with the same issues you are. I find group therapy or support groups as being extremely helpful. I've seen it firsthand while working at a local clinic. That's what we did. We did groups, and the most of the groups are groups of like there's 8. I think the most I've worked with were 12 people, and they all correlated with each other and talked with each other and found ways to help one another. Like, hey, this is an idea. This is what I do to help myself, and to come up with ideas. There's also inpatient treatment. Inpatient treatment is a 24 hours facility where you would be 24 hours a day for anywhere from a week to a month to 2 months, depending on the condition. And you'd be working with mental health professionals who work there, therapists, doctors. There are groups there, and you'll also be doing some one-on-one counseling as well with a therapist that works there. Some medications may work. Um, Lithium is a mood stabilizer that would definitely help with your anxiety, depression. There's antidepressants that are used for people who have depression, anxiety, and bipolar, would also be used for gambling addiction, which that kind of makes sense because with gambling addiction, you're anxious, you got anxiety, you got depression, so that definitely helps right there. Also, you can help yourself too. That's a way where you can close out your accounts if you have an account with like with a gambling website or an app. You close that account out and you delete that app. Close that account out would definitely help. Where that way you can't continue to use, or you can call them up and they'll definitely help you with the closing of the account. They may ask why, what's going on. Sometimes, usually they don't, but they could ask. I'm not sure. I've never used anything like that. But I'm just saying that could happen. They may ask you a few questions. Uh, there are um, betting, sports betting sites that block that type of stuff on your phone and computer. Like there's Bet Blocker, Gamblock, or Gambam. I've never heard of them, but that's also like a software they can use to where they will block all these sports betting sites and all that stuff. That definitely helps too. You can also ask a trusted family member or someone from your support system to help manage your money, and they can help with your finances if it got to that point. Also, you always use your support system. That definitely helps. I think that's all I got for today. Um, I was hoping to get a guest on the show to talk more about the gambling addiction and all that, but I couldn't find anybody. I also posted some stuff on my Facebook page asking if anyone had any questions that wanted to be answered during this episode, but I didn't get anybody. No one really reached out or commented or anything on that post, but that's all right. It's I just started doing that not too long ago with my about a week before my episode. I'd post something, say, "Hey, I'm doing this is my topic for next week. Are there any questions you have that you would like answered during the episode?" I haven't gotten anybody. No one's commented yet, but I just started doing it a few weeks ago. So I was hoping to get some questions so I could find the answers and definitely talk about it. Um. So again, my this podcast, Path to New You, is available on most major platforms such as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube now. Been YouTube for about 2 weeks now, which is great. Um, Spotify. It's also available on Spotify and Amazon Music, Audible, and a couple other ones, I believe. But most major platforms it's available on. I try to do an episode a week. Sometimes it might be every 2 weeks. Sometimes it might be every three, depending how busy I am. I'm also always looking for guests on the show, someone who specializes in a certain area of the mental health field, a veteran who wants to be on the show. We can talk about their life in the military or anything like that. I'm always looking for guests. I'm looking for other therapists who want to be on my show, who specialize in certain area of the mental health area. I'd love for you to be on my show, on my podcast. I do have a Facebook page for this podcast called The Path to a New You. Um, Please like and follow that Facebook page. I do post self care tips, mental health stuff. I also post a link to my podcast on there. You can reach out to me through there as well through Messenger, or you can comment and say, "Hey, I'd like to be a guest on your show," or "I know someone who would." Have them reach out to me. I also have a Facebook page for my private practice, New Beginnings Counseling LLC. If you could like and follow that page as well. I do post stuff about mental health stuff on there as well. If you are looking for therapy, I do have a few openings available. You can always reach out to me via the Facebook page, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I hope you learned some stuff today about gambling addiction. And until then, be well. Until next week, be well.